Hey all, that's Hoverov, and this is the video on how we made the centerpiece for Sailor Moon Manna Moon Deckbox. At the beginning I really wanted to press that rec button to show y'all who's interested the behind the scene process on how things done. Enjoy! So, in the beginning I get the reference ideas, what I see on the internet on different platforms, and I start mapping out the big shapes of the upcoming centerpiece. I'm worried about the silhouette and the big shapes. This stage is something like exploration and attempt to understand how this thing is going to be in 3D. Because for now I only have the 2D reference, and turning this into the real 3D dimensional thing is a big challenge. So I'm not really clinging to details and to particular ideas. I just try to map out the silhouette, as I said, first, and get the idea of how the shape design will evolve in future. Eventually I started to slowly carve out the details, was realizing that it will take time and a lot of attention, and that was all the process up to the end, polishing and refining, making it look as crisp and beautiful as possible. It was the matter of time, love and attention to the details, curves, flow and all these things. The main trick and the main nuance about this project is that this is a puzzle, and I needed to make the red gem fit the golden frame. That's not a big concern for me now, since I'm worried just about the beauty and how things and shapes look in 3D, but later, as I finished the actual shape design and Mana said that it looks good, I started optimizing it. And it was quite a challenge. I needed to contact my friend Sarp. Big thanks to him, he taught me about the positive and negative angles and how I should properly subtract things and leave a bit extra space so they fit. But for now, all I worried about is the, as you can see, shape design, and I brought it to Blender because I really want to see the real 3D camera. The first software does not provide the real look and real feel of 3D. That's 2.5D. Doesn't really matter, but what matters is that I really wanted to see it in real 3D camera, and as you can see I add some real world reference, I add some lighting, and I tried to make some analysis on how things feel and look, and based on that I take notes and I go back to the first software, that's a ZBrush, and I make the adjustment based on what I see. I'm not worried about the polishing and making wrinkles or that type of stuff for now. As you can see, again, I bring it to the Blender. I had a lot of iterations in the beginning. I think that on the first day I had like 5 exports to Blender. I tried to add some small details, coffee mugs, and just, you know, attempt to incorporate it into the real world. Though it meant to be on the top of the deck box, I really wanted to break the wall and feel how this real centerpiece will feel in real scenario. And right now you can see a small portion of what I was doing, polishing things and refining. That was a lot of hours watching angles and trying to make analysis on how to make things work. My main task was to have the good highlights and reduce the wobbliness, the waviness. Everything that looks odd and not pleasing to the eye should be removed from mesh period. That was the main task for me, and that's what I was doing every day, day by day. Sad thing is that some of the details they did not make to the end, and they got kind of melted, though they melted pretty well since I was really worried about the big shapes in the beginning. So eventually we really got quite a good result. Here you can see that I add these small gems, stones, and I once again export it to the real camera, and I make some analysis notes in my notebook, and I try to get that feeling. At this stage, Manna asked me to create a small teaser for y'all to show what we were doing, and I needed to set up the proper materials, and that's what I was doing at this stage. Shapes and overall feel of the centerpiece really improves and enhances over the time. In the beginning it felt really huge and impossible to do, honestly. I thought that there is so much to do, and I was a bit lost. I had no idea how am I able to make it work. But as you can see, as we proceed, I started flipping images and trying to refresh my eye, I would say. It's a usual thing for people who do art, to flip images to refresh eye, because when you stare at something for hours, your eye can get blurry and you won't register information as much. And here's the stage where I made the alpha mask for the details that we end up not using it, which is fine. I think that as you will see, the result without these details is way better. Decided to solidify this area just to make sure that it will be solid and nobody will break it by accident. Really needed that extra thick bar of metal right there. Really wanted to make sure that things feel sturdy and stiff. And these are almost the final samples versions of the pendant. You can see that it's quite pretty and already feels right. Already feels right and good. I took a lot of screenshots to analyze and improve certain areas, because some of the angles and some of the parts had very bad specular highlights, and some areas were wobbly and noisy, which I don't really like. So that's what I was inspecting all over this gem, and I brought back that stuff to ZBrush. At the end, I really started thinking about the flow and how things intertwine and interlock into each other. I wanted to create the continuous flow of the shapes of the things that they kind of linked and they flow into each other. This idea from academical drawings and from the artistic education, call it whatever, or maybe that's just my vision. I wanted to make things sing and flow into each other, make it really something magical, something beautiful out of that stuff. So now it looks really hot. These are the final renders, and this is the time when we try to create these additional detail we end up not using. You will see why we're not using it, because we felt that's too much of that. As you can see, I made this extrusion. It went a bit down, and to me personally and to Manna's taste, we just decided it's not worth it. So we end up with this. I really dig the final results. To me, it was really amazing project where I had a lot of doubts, a lot of struggles, but we end up making something beautiful, something that you will use and enjoy on a daily basis. Thanks to everyone who watched this video, and I hope that in future I'll be able to tell you more exciting things behind the scene that we do.
Here we go. Oh, did you hear that click? Did you hear that satisfying click of something fitting together just right?